Every day I wake up, tunnel vision, make my paper long. Early bird gets the worm, so you know what I'm snacking on. I'ma tell you like my mama told me, like Martin Luther King.
When you hear this, I want it to be the beginning of your healing process. If life has dragged you to the darkest of places and you're feeling hopeless, if it seems like negative energy is constantly poisoning your progress, if there's a pain in your chest, if reality slowly but relentlessly draws a map on your face, if it feels like the world is whizzing by and you can't keep up with the pace just lately, I think I know where you are. I think you're lost sometimes like we all are, and you're walking with a heavy heart. I think you were born with courage from the very start, but the past has been harsh. I think this isn't the first time you've fallen apart and put yourself together again only to be broken in half. Asking yourself in the morning, how long can this last? With your head in your palms. But look up. Tell yourself that you deserve another chance. Remember, it was you who dusted yourself off all of the other times, when everything you built felt like it was burning down, but you called it a forest fire. Because you built it all back from scratch at a time when your life was more than volatile, with only yourself to rely on. When it seemed like all of your friends were standing on the shoulders of giants, whilst you're stood in the cold and it's quiet. trying to survive until the stars are aligned. But you're ready to shine at this moment in time. So I wait for the stars if you can see the sunrise. It's beautiful when you can see the glass is half full. And you show people in the past you can't fall. With your head held high, back arched and stood tall. Don't let your dreams die, that's half the battle. Find your safe space and tell them all I'll be back soon. Then close your eyes and have faith in the law of attraction. The universe will respond with more than you imagined. With miracles and breakthroughs, you were born to be a champion. A wise man told me this, and I'll share it with everyone. You don't have to see anyone who don't see that you could be anyone. So delete negativity and you will prevail. Leave behind those who took the wind from your sail. Find your purpose and surround your tomorrows with the ones who never left you to drown in your sorrows. Be in sync with your instincts and all will be fine. It's about time you realize that you can realign. Nobody ever said you won't fall on hard times, but heroes are born when they are forged from cast iron. When we look at the sun, we know it's more than justifiable. So telling yourself you're more is more than justifiable. There's no need to look back, I know it hurts when you do. What a day to celebrate. It's the rebirth of you.
My body started right from the beginning. Under the night sky where we were kissing. On the roof of your car, looking at the brightest star. We're alright as we are, don't need direction. We don't need people interfering. We don't need everyone's opinion. All we need is some space, maybe our own new place. We can start to live our life, be young and free. Shine your light, I will stay up all night. I won't give up, no. We don't need love, no. We can go on and on and on and on and on. Things are always tough in the beginning. I'll be next to you, always listening. All I want to do is love you. Spend my days thinking of you. Live each day like the last. Never look back. We don't need people interfering. We don't need everyone's opinion. All we need is some space, maybe our own new place. We can start to live our life, be young and free. Shine your light, I will stay up all night. I won't give up, no. We don't need love, no. We can go on and on and on and on and on. Shine your light, I will stay up all night. I won't give up, no. We don't need love, no. We can go on and on and on and on and on. Shine your light, I will stay up all night. I won't give up, no. We don't need love, no. We can go on and on and on and on and on. Shine your light, I will stay up all night. I won't give up, no. We don't need love, no. We can go on and on and on and on.
Let's go. Fight, stand, push, kick, punch, move. 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 Screaming, fight the power, got me feeling like Chuck D. These rough streets feel dirtier than scuffed cleats. Trust me, the police would rather cuff teens and point them in the right directions. I open up dreams. You gotta be kidding, this quality's missing. So many youth growing up, living poverty stricken. It's the truth, things are tough, there's a lot to be given. Black youth versus police, why we always the victim? Man, stand, push, kick, punch, move. Fight, stand, push, kick, punch, move. Fight, stand, push, kick, punch, move. Fight, stand, push, kick, punch, move. The government's crazy. They limit our political views and propagate the opposite of what's considered the truth. If not the haters, obstacles they try to limit us to. Don't believe me, peep the statistics. Way we living is proof. Man, something's gotta give. Since something's gotta give. Sports, drugs, and entertainment's just not the way to live. Mean the ones that do make it out is hustling for chips, and the rest left fighting over crumbs that don't exist. Man, stand, push, kick, punch, move. Fight, stand, push, kick, punch, move. Fight, stand, push, kick, punch, move. Fight, stand, push, kick, punch, move.
Political this, political that. This is more than political raps. On the news was a cop shot the boy in the back. Let him die in the street, blood soaking his hat and shirt. Cold world, ain't no bringing him back. Mama crying on the TV, ain't no justice for that. Whole city in rage, we ain't standing for that. No peace, so it's war, no bull, no cap. Political this, political that. Even on my final hour, tell the people fight the power. Political this, political that. Even on my final hour. Political this, political that. This is more than political rap. All this injustice, we ain't standing for that. All this pain on us, we ain't standing for that. Talk about freedom and its meaning, more like oppression and control on the people. Thought the 44th would make us equal, had hope for change, but still what remains is the people. Going crazy in the crave, it's a maze. Talking political gains, employees and slaves. All the same, no difference. Truth over instrumentals, switch the flow up and keep the tempo. Make sure y'all hear us clearly, we don't fear it. If y'all don't kill me, then y'all can't stop me. We want justice, not just talking, copy. Political this, political that. Even on my final hour, tell the people fight the power. Political this, political that. Even on my final hour. Political this, political that. This is more than political rap. All this injustice, we ain't standing for that. All this pain on us, we ain't standing for that. Power to the people, even with all that you've been through. Still you stand tall in the middle of it all with your head high. Tears flowing slow from your left eye, trying not to show it. Right along the right one, we was thinking last time this would be the last one. Police brutality, casualties are rising. Guns keep firing, numbers keep climbing. Cases get buried. Sad next week he was supposed to get married. Mistaken identity, oh how cliche. Homicide turned to a closed case. The people want justice, you ain't gotta riddle me that. This is more than political raps. Political this, political that. Even on my final hour. Political this, political that. This is more than political rap. All this injustice, we ain't standing for that. All this pain on us, we ain't standing for that. Political this, political that. This is more than political rap. All this injustice, we ain't standing for that. All this pain on us, we ain't standing for that.
If they violate your rights and freedom, stand up. Cause they never had the right to be. Stand up. Cause they throw us in the cells and cages. Stand up. If you wanna see some help and change, stand up. If they violate your rights and freedom, stand up. Cause they never had the right to be. Stand up. Cause they throw us in the cells and cages. Stand up. If you wanna see some help and change, stand up. God bless the child that can hold his own. I think militant, looking like a soldier's clone. I got a team on my side, but I rose alone. I got a gang that can ride, but I hold my own. If you don't stand for something, you fall for anything. Stay away from the clowns and the negative energy. Got my feet to the ground, ain't no way to pretend to be. Got my fist to the cloud, I'ma make them remember me. Stand up. If they violate your rights and freedom, stand up. Cause they never had the right to be. Stand up. Cause they throw us in the cells and cages. Stand up. If you wanna see some help and change, stand up. If they violate your rights and freedom, stand up. Cause they never had the right to be. Stand up. Cause they throw us in the cells and cages. Stand up. If you wanna see some help and change, it's not a red versus blue thing. It's not a me versus you thing. It's a lie versus truth thing. Look into my eyes, what do you see? I see a man, see a man, see a man that'll stand for change. 100 yards from the target with fearless range. They call the cops when I walk inside my building now. I've been around for a while and it's clearly strange. I'm saying hands up, don't shoot. Cell phone in my hands so they still shoot. In a better neighborhood they probably won't shoot, but make excuses for the people what I won't do. Stand up, stand up. If they violate your rights and freedom, stand up. Cause they never had the right to be. Stand up. Cause they throw us in the cells and cages. Stand up. If you wanna see some help and change, stand up. If they violate your rights and freedom, stand up. Cause they never had the right to be. Stand up. Cause they throw us in the cells and cages. Stand up. If you wanna see some help and change, stand up.
Road less travel, I'm built for it. Dirt and gravel, that's not foreign. Came from the mud and I grew to a flower. The pain and the blood I was almost devoured. My name is all I've got, and I won't break that for no one. I'm coming for my spot, and it's time that I grow up. When my back's against the wall, I always make a way. And I'm happy that I can say that I am here to stay. Put a hand in the air if you know you deserve to be here. Living life without a care, and I hardly ever see fear. Obstacles will cross our path, that happens every day. But as long as we try, we will make a way. Don't look down, just keep rising. Don't give in, just keep fighting. My faith gets stronger every day, that's no lie. Knowing to fold and walk away in this life. Sunny weather, things look brighter. I feel much better, today I'm wiser. Time's been hard, but I must say, when family's here, we'll make a way. Put a hand in the air if you know you deserve to be here. Living life without a care, and I hardly ever see fear. Obstacles will cross our path, that happens every day. But as long as we try, we will make a way. I am resilient, one in a billion. Learn to love the feeling, so I touch the sky. I was born to fly, I'ma share what I have inside. I'ma share with the world, yeah. It's a promise and a fact, yeah. Giving back is where it's at, yeah. I was down at the bottom looking up, I was stuck looking for a way. Never giving up, said I'll make it, cause I can take it. All the troubles in the world, I'ma shake it. All the drama in my life, I don't think twice. Keep my head high, tell the negativity bye, 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 bye. I am resilient, one in a billion. Learn to love the feeling, so I touch the sky. I was born to fly, I'ma share what I have inside. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, let me talk to him right quick. Yeah, damn. Giving up ain't an option, I keep it locked and I'm flossing. I may be down, but I'm crawling, I'm aiming for the stars. You got the courage and the world is ours. I write it down on some paper, hope filled with bars, striving high. I'm born to win, that's my alibi. I may cry, but I keep on going cause the sun will shine. I don't know where to go, but I got hope, it's a slope. Will you hold, say a prayer, you're not alone. Just say this out loud. I am resilient, one in a billion. Learn to love the feeling, so I touch the sky. I was born to fly, I'ma share what I have inside. There ain't no greater feeling, the love for healing, a rainbow after the storm. So I touch the sky. I was born to fly, I'ma share what I have inside. Oh yeah, yeah, la 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 la.
long that road may be.
But I fear no one as I make my journey, 'cause I know that someone will be there with me.
I know that someone will be there with me.
He's gonna lead me across the highest mountain. He's gonna take me to the widest stream. With the good Lord beside me and His love to guide me, I know that someday I can find my dream. I know that someday I can find my dream. His love is in the air. His love is ours to share. His love is always fair. His love is everywhere. I know He's there for me. I know He'll always be. I'm gonna follow my dream. He's with me every day. He's in my life to stay. And when the skies are gray, He's there and everywhere. I know He'll have to believe in everything I do. I'm gonna follow my dream. He's gonna lead me across the highest mountain. He's gonna take me through the widest stream. With the good Lord beside me and His love to guide me, I know that someday I can find my dream. I know that someday I can find my dream. He's never far behind. His love is always kind. He's never hard to find. He's always on my mind. He's always there for me. I know He'll always be. I'm gonna follow my dream. His love is in the air. His love is ours to share. His love is always fair. His love is everywhere. I know He's there for me. I know He'll always be. I'm gonna follow my dream. He's gonna lead me across the highest mountain. He's gonna take me through the widest stream. With the good Lord beside me and His love to guide me, I know that someday I can find my dream. I know that someday I can find my dream.
And on the road when your soul gets weary, and it's as much as you can bear, don't give up, you've got a staff to lean on, and it's always gonna help you there.
He's gonna lead me across the highest mountain. He's gonna take me through the widest stream. With the good Lord beside me and His love to guide me, I know that someday I can find my dream. I know that someday I can find my dream. I know that someday I can find my dream.
We're headed straight for the top. Yeah, you already know. We're headed straight for the top. Don't look back now, let's go. 'Cause it's a celebration. Yeah. And we came to have a good time.
Yeah, no negativity. When you here with me, we having good times with good vibes. I gotta keep the energy. I gotta live out what's in on me. We headed straight to the top like a penthouse suite, you feel me? Yeah, I'm talking luxury linens. The more that we living, the more that we giving. You know we do it all. We getting started, not ending. It's only beginning. Just listen up. Tell them where we going, y'all.
We're headed straight for the top. Yeah, you already know. We're headed straight for the top. Don't look back now, let's go. 'Cause it's a celebration. Yeah. And we came to have a good time.
It be your own. I almost dropped my phone when I heard my gone on some bullshit. And all that jealousy and all that hood. Why we just can get together on some good shit. I love the culture, but we gotta stick together. But if we bang the block, let's make it better. Yeah.
We're headed straight for the top. Yeah, you already know. We're headed straight for the top. Don't look back now, let's go. 'Cause it's a celebration. Yeah. And we came to have a good time.
Yeah. We headed straight to the top, but you knew that. We will not tolerate saying I cannot do that. What you do is what you believe, and all the things you go believe are what you achieve. You got it? Your inner circle should be your biggest cheerleaders. Take action, be a leader. Don't let them get ahead of you. You can be content with being average, but this is where we headed to.
We're headed straight for the top. Yeah, you already know. We're headed straight for the top. Don't look back now, let's go.
Let's go.
Cause it's a celebration. Yeah. And we came to have a good time. Yeah.
We gotta make it out. We gotta find a way. Despite them haters doubt. Get on my knees and pray. Yeah, get on my knees and pray. I say get on my knees and pray. Cause there's a new mission. We gotta come together. Cause too much black and too much love equals forever. It equals forever. Said too much black and too much love equals forever. I'm preaching unity. Yeah, that's the mission statement. We gotta come together if we wanna get to greatness. Too many youngins out here dying, way we live is flagrant. And then they wonder why we scramble grams and hit the pavement. Man, way they treat us almost sacrilegious. Things got me feeling so emotional, I'm catching feelings. Just trying to find a way to make it out, we after millions. Until them dollars stack up high enough to scratch the ceiling. We gotta make it out, we gotta find a way. Despite them haters doubt, get on my knees and pray. Yeah, get on my knees and pray. I say get on my knees and pray. Cause there's a newer mission. We gotta come together. Cause too much black and too much love equals forever. It equals forever. Said too much black and too much love equals forever. I'm talking unity. To some that concept's foreign, but between you and me, how long can they ignore us? How long can we withstand before we all unite? They pushed us to the limit, it's time to stand and fight. They see our brilliance, that to notice is clear. They trying to trap our minds and control us with fear. That's why we have to rise, till they know that it's clear. We taking back our lives, won't be no interference. We gotta make it out, we gotta find a way. Despite them haters doubt, get on my knees and pray. Yeah, get on my knees and pray. I say get on my knees and pray. Cause there's a newer mission. We gotta come together. Cause too much black and too much love equals forever. It equals forever. Said too much black and too much love equals forever.
Jumping over barricades, juggling with hand grenades. Nothing can touch me. Jump from the dizzy heights, falling from the city lights. Nothing can break me. I'm walking on the road without a safety net. 1,000 miles high, playing hard to get. Standing on the edge, not afraid to look down. Life is a fight, and I can see vultures flying overhead. Broken bones scattered, I'm left for dead. I'm standing on the edge, not afraid to look down. Life is a fight. Line me up against the wall. Shoot me down, but I won't fall. Nothing's gonna break me. I'm walking on the road without a safety net. 1,000 miles high, playing hard to get. Standing on the edge, not afraid to look down. Life is a fight. Oh, pick yourself up and dust yourself down. Open up your eyes and take a look around. I'm standing on the edge, not afraid to
Good morning. Let's try that one more time. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, family. It is not quite 12 yet, 11:58, so it's morning. My name is Karen Gibson, and I have the pleasure of serving on the Community Relations Committee, and I serve as the Vice Chair for the Charlotte-Mecklenburg MLK Planning Committee. So we are excited to have you all here today. I want to take a quick minute and just do a few introductions. Willie Ratford, who is the Executive Director for the Community Relations Department, is he in the room? Yes, thank you so much for being here. And Terry Bradley, Associate Executive Director for the Community Relations Department. Thank you so much, Terry. I also want to acknowledge the current president of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Pan-Hellenic Council, Felicia Monroe. She in the room? I was told she was in the room. Oh, thank you so much for being here. The purpose of today is to host a D9 panel discussion, and this is being hosted by the Charlotte-Mecklenburg MLK Planning Committee, Community Relations Committee, Atrium Health, UNCC, and Johnson C. Smith, and this is our second annual. The purpose is to highlight the impact of the D9 community as it pertains to leadership and service. As we all know, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. also was a member of a Divine Nine organization and believed deeply in leadership and service as well as in giving back to the community. Today's panelists will speak from an organizational standpoint as well as personal experiences in these two particular areas. They are also going to talk about how leadership in these organizations have truly shaped their service to the community. At this time, I would ask that our moderators for this afternoon please come forward, Councilman James Mitchell and Dr. Wolf.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. All right, so before we begin, one housekeeping rule is the views expressed today are the views, but these panelists are their own individual views and not in any way reflective of the organizations that they represent. I don't want to hear that the Alphas got beef with the city of Charlotte, all right? All right, so now let's get started. I want to set the context for this.
Good disclaimer.
April 3rd, 1968, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood before an overflowing crowd in Memphis, Tennessee, and delivered, "I've been to the mountaintop." King detailed his primary concerns with the Memphis sanitation strike. He called for unity, economic actions, boycotts, nonviolent protests, all while challenging the United States to live up to its ideals. In less than 24 hours, King was assassinated. Today, we gather to draw inspiration from his last words. Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop and I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will, and He's allowed me to go up to the mountain, and I've looked over, and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we, as a people, will get to the promised land. So I want to invite my brother Smudge to come up here, and let's get into this conversation.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Before we have the panelists to introduce themselves, I'd like to recognize two other elected officials that are part of Divine Nine. Commissioner and Vice Chair Mark Jarrell. Mark, stand up. Go ahead and throw it up one time. Go ahead.
One time.
One time. And a colleague who serves with me, Councilwoman Victoria Watlington. Victoria? There you go. There you go. All right. So now I would like to have the panelists to introduce themselves. And of course, I hope you can recognize what Divine Nine they are representing. But more importantly, we have a serious topic, but I want this to really be a conversation. So I'm going to start with the young man who's wearing the purple and gold. Will you introduce yourself first, sir?
My name is Gary McFadden. For some of you who look strange at me, I am your sheriff. I'm the 45th sheriff of Mecklenburg County. I'm the first black sheriff of Mecklenburg County. We are on the grounds of Johnson C. Smith, where I gained my freedom. That office was my office as the vice president of SGA, and I'm looking forward to have a vibrant conversation. Don't hold it against me. I'm free.
I love that.
Ms. Jada?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jada Grandy Mott. I am here in Charlotte, North Carolina, born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Very excited to have the conversation with you today about what it really means to see the promised land and the role that each and every one of us can play in the work that we do in all the spaces and places that we occupy to be able to influence change. Very nice. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shalini Thompson. I am a transplant to Charlotte, but I've been here for almost 19 years. I'm from New Jersey. I am very excited to be a part of this panel discussion this afternoon.
Good afternoon. I'm Marcus Jones, and I'm the city manager of the city of Charlotte.
Woo! Oh. Yes.
And I am a proud member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. And I thought that I had this thing together until I realized that Sheriff McFadden was going to be on this panel. So I know we're going to have a great time today. And it's great to be a part of the panel, so thank you.
My name is Hugh Allen. I pledged Kappa Alpha Psi at the University of Texas in Austin. Thank you. In the fall of 1982, I'm also a transplant, moving here. I'm originally from Texas. Obviously, you can tell by the accent. I serve as Executive Vice President for TD Bank. I'm currently in a role as a regional president, but I'm transitioning to our head of U.S. commercial real estate lending.
Awesome.
Let me hold a little something. There. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Chris Ray. I currently serve as the international president of Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. And I'm still going to say I'm the new president of Barber Scotia College for right now. Just excited to be here with you all and looking forward to a robust dialogue with my fellow D9 members.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Dr. Nikita Lindsay. I am a pediatrician here in Charlotte, practicing for more than 20 years at this point. Wow. I am born and raised in North Carolina, but in Charlotte for 23 years, trained here in Charlotte as well. And I'm very happy to be here to represent Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated, sitting next to a brother. And I'm excited about the conversation.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Juanita Wells Martin. I am the president of the Charlotte Alumni Chapter of Sigma Gamma Rho Sorority Incorporated. I'm a software engineering manager at Wells Fargo, and I am too a transplant to Charlotte. I'm from a small rural town in South Carolina called Turbyville. It is in Clarendon County. You all may be familiar with Brown versus the Board of Education.
They don't know about that.
That was in Somerton, but that is a part of Clarendon County, where I'm from. And so any discussions about Martin Luther King and his principles, it runs near and dear to me and my family. So I am happy to be here to share with you all this afternoon.
Good afternoon. My name is Lance Cargill. I'm the president of the local alumni chapter here of Iota Omega of Iota Phi Theta Fraternity Incorporated. I am a small business owner called the business is Karen Transitions. We specialize in relocating seniors and downsizing and estate sales. And it's definitely an honor to be here and to discuss Martin Luther King and the promised speech. And also it's an honor to be here at my alma mater, JCSU. Thank you.
So thank you all so much. So we're going to jump right into the discussion. Panelists, what one service project within your organization stands out to you? What one service project within your organization stands out to you? Sheriff?
Feeding my neighbors every Tuesday on what most people call the block or the wall. Some of the people that we provide nourishment for and clothing and showers, or even people I went to school with. And so for me, I cannot go home if I don't take care of them. I'm restless if I eat, because my brothers and sisters who are my neighbors, we don't say homeless. My staff is, we don't say homeless. They are told by me and other staff members to call my neighbors on my streets my neighbors instead of homeless. So for me, I believe that has done great for me. We gave 259 families toys this year. Most people don't know it. And anybody want data, as y'all like to play with? 42,000 people we fed during COVID. We didn't go home. We couldn't be sheltered in because we are a law enforcement agency. So I'm proud of the initiative of feeding our citizens here. And if anybody wants to challenge that, I will show you an email that I got that a mother said to her son, "Thank you for feeding us this week." And I wasn't here. It's simply I had a cash app and I fed this family. So I'm proud of what we do about feeding our neighbors.
Thank you.
Awesome. I am very, very proud of our Dr. Betty Shabazz Delta Academy. Our academy was our sorority's bold determination to save our African American girls from academic failure and expose them to worlds beyond their imagination. I am really, really proud because we are exposing girls to experiences in fields that we are underrepresented in: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So while I am very proud of the many things that we do in the community, I will make sure that I focus on this one today.
As I thought about this question, I thought of the various program initiatives that Alpha Kappa Alpha offer. The one that has stuck with me over the past 32 years that I've been a part of the organization is any programming around our children, going into the schools and volunteering. Because I believe that our children, we say it takes a village. It truly takes a village to raise our children today. And that's one program that I always try to participate in making sure that I can be another person that a child can come to and talk to for anything.
So I'm a PK. Does anybody know what that means? Okay.
Preacher kid.
Okay.
Oh, yes, we do.
So you already have some of your ideas about PKs because of your experience with Preacher's Kids, okay? But I also want to tell you that, my dad had an 11th grade education, and being a preacher in a rural community doesn't really pay the bills. So Dad was also pumped gas, he drove buses, he was a janitor. And my mom had a 6th grade education, and it's kind of interesting. She raised white folks' kids, and when Mom died, most of the boo-hoos were from those kids that she was a part of their lives. So why I say that is because our program, a national program, go to high school, go to college, has been something we've worked on for the last 100 years. And while college may not be for everybody, me being a first-generation college graduate, I failed to mention I'm also the baby, the youngest of 7, and we grew up 3 bedrooms, 9 people in the house. You can do the math. I smelled a bunch of people's feet for a bunch of years. So having an opportunity to mentor young folks, to let them know that there are opportunities when maybe they haven't had a chance to see it, and that's something that I'm very proud of Alpha Phi Alpha doing over the last 100 years.
That's great. For Kappa Alpha Psi, I guess there's a common theme here, and it's around our youth. Guide Right is a foundational program that we have nationally, and here with Charlotte alumni, within our Guide Right program, we have a very strong and vibrant Kappa League where we provide mentorship, we provide guidance and direction to young people on how to develop their leadership skills, their life skills, and prepare them to graduate from high school and hopefully and possibly go on to college. I believe nationally our graduation rate from those who participate in Kappa League events or in a Kappa League in their community is close to 100%, and over 80% of them go on to go to college. So that is something which is translated to me, because one of the things I do as an executive is I like to work with that new early talent entry into the company, make sure they've got the proper mentorship, make sure they've got the proper glide path into their role. They have somebody that's safe for them to speak to, somebody that can mentor them, and to make sure they are on the right path. Because when I came into corporate America, I didn't have that. Sure. I kind of flopped around the first 6 months trying to figure it out. Finally, somebody took me under their wing. I was fortunate. I remember when I started banking, and this was with an MBA, I was one of 10 African Americans that started at one of the top 10 banks in the country. And I'm probably the only one left in banking today. So mentorship is so important. I wanted to just highlight what we do with Guy Wright and specifically within our Kappa League activities.
So I'm gonna build off of his statement. Mentorship is critical and it's real. 73 years ago, Phi Beta Sigma started what we now call our Sigma Beta Club. For 73 years, we have been mentoring black and brown boys. So 20 years ago, when it became very popular to some organizations, I'm not speaking about Kappa League, I don't want to say that, but it was we have to mentor our black boys. We have to mentor our black boys. We're not new to this, we're true to this. We've been doing it for a while. Today, our Sigma Beta Club has, nationally, we have over 300 chapters that are impacting young men. Here in Charlotte, very proud of the Beta Rho Sigma chapter here, who's one of our premier chapters in the country, who has a very strong Sigma Beta Club. I believe they have over 30 young men that they mentor right now. And so our impact is real. And so that's domestically. Internationally, when I think about a key program that sticks out, I think about our chapter in Ghana. They have a well project that they do in rural cities where they're digging wells for fresh water for citizens. I've had the opportunity to go and see how digging a well literally changes the lives of people, from having to walk 50 miles. And I know that sounds crazy, but they have to sometimes walk days to get fresh water to bring back to their village. And so when I think about that kind of impact that our organization is doing, and it truly is a sense of pride. So from a mentoring standpoint, and then from an international engagement standpoint, it's real out here.
And this is why you sit to the right of a national president.
So what happens when you sit to the left? So
it's my sister, so we good.
Yeah, y'all good. I think y'all good.
So for Zeta Phi Beta, I would like to. I may be stretching it a bit, but I'm most proud of our Z Hope program. Oh. And so Z Hope is an acronym standing for Zetas Helping Other People Excel. And it is a national, multidisciplinary program that creates some healthy and sisterly competition through all our chapters, auxiliaries, youth programs, and it expands throughout the lifespan of our community. So everything from prematurity awareness and a partnership with March of Dimes to autism awareness and anti-bullying in elder care throughout the entire lifespan of our communities. And to piggyback, of course, as a pediatrician, I'm most proud of our youth and the programs that our youth are involved in, and the fact that Zeta Phi Beta sorority touches youth from 4 to 18. And we do programs, and even our youth are involved in these Z-Hope programs. But it is service across the lifespan of our community that I'm most proud of for Zeta.
By show of hands, how many of you know how to swim?
Good up in here.
Yeah, we're good. Yeah, we're good. Anyone know of a kid that's afraid of water?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Not my kids, but.
As a kid, that was me, afraid of water. And until I was an adult, I learned how to swim. Sigma Gamma Rho has an initiative called Swim 1922. It is a partnership with USA Swimming that enables Black and brown kids the opportunity to learn how to swim and be safe in the water. This national program is the one that I am most proud of. It resonates with me because oftentimes we see that our kids, they want to get in the water, or when they get in the water, they want to have fun, they want to play, but often many of them don't know how to swim, or there are some that are sitting on the sidelines because they're afraid of water. And so Sigma Gamma Rho has, again, partnered with USA Swimming and several Olympians to try to break down that disparity and let us know that we can be safe in the water, we can have fun in the water. For Black women, we can still swim in the water, not worry about our hair, but that's one. So that program, and we are the only Divine Nine organization that has this partnership, because we want all of our kids to have the same opportunities as other nationalities to ensure that we know how to swim, we're safe in the water, and we can help someone else that is struggling with in the water. And so this program resonates with me. It is for youth, as well as there's an opportunity to teach adults as well to be safe in the water. And just one plug about that program is that our chapter partners with the Queen City Dolphins. They are the only African-American AAU swim team in the Charlotte, North Carolina, South Carolina area. And so they too have joined arms with us to help with that disparity and ensure that our kids are safe in the water and know how to swim. Thank you.
That's unique.
So Iota Phi Theta fraternity has a long-standing commitment to service and community engagement. And part of that commitment, the fraternity has embarked on a campaign called the 5-Star Vaccine Impact Program, which promotes the accessibility of vaccines to older adults. We found this particularly important because the ongoing pandemic has disproportionately affected older adults. We've partnered with the National Council of Aging to increase the vaccination rates amongst older adults. And every American deserves to age well with the best possible health and financial security. People are living longer these days. And by the year 2034, older adults will outnumber children for the first time in the United States. And this is a remarkable milestone because we know that the gift of longevity isn't shared equally. And we know that the health and quality of years and quantity of years isn't shared. So this is why we've partnered with the National Council of Aging and Walgreens to increase the vaccination rates and to make sure everyone has the gift of longevity.
All right. Oh, it's a lot. Y'all are doing some phenomenal things. So the theme for this, the context behind this, is King's Promised Land. So I have to ask, and I'm throwing it out there to the group, what does Dr. King's Promised Land mean to you?
What was the question? Can you repeat that again? You know, the beat was.
What does Dr. King's
The beat was
Promised
over.
Land mean to you?
Promised land.
I'd say.
And try to keep yours within 2 minutes.
Oh, yes. I'd say that I'd like to think that Dr. King's Promised Land means to me about the same as what it meant to him in 1968. A lot of that is equal opportunities for our communities with decent access to health care and education, to be on equal and fertile ground once we start to get out into the world. But I also I would take it a bit further even and say that as we want that focus on equality, but in 2024 we also want to bring equity into that conversation, in that we can't expect community members to run the race when their ankles have been bound by poverty or prejudice or trauma, and expect them to be able to run the same race as someone that has been given all those opportunities even before the race began. So as much as it is about equality, as Dr. King said, I think as we expand that for our time, the focus should also be on equity.
So okay, go ahead. No, ma'am.
So I would just add, for me, I've given a lot of thought about this question, and I made some comments here because when I really think about the Promised Land, I'm thinking about a world where I can live free of racial discrimination, segregation, and oppression. A society where we all have equal rights and opportunities. A Promised Land where there's peace, where conflicts are resolved through nonviolence, and we're not going from tragedy to tragedy thinking about our brother or sister who has died to gun violence in our community because we remained silent. For me, it's not just about civil rights, but it's about economic rights, a place where poverty is eradicated, because I was somebody who grew up in poverty and education was my gateway to opportunity, but that's another conversation. But where everyone has access to jobs, education, and health care, where disparities are no more. It's a beacon of hope and inspiration for me, encouraging and urging all of us to work toward a better future, even when we're faced with significant obstacles and challenges. We cannot seek from undertaking what seems wise and good because handicaps or obstacles of any kind confront us, but striving to preserve a calm mind with a courageous spirit, barring bitterness from our heart. We need to continue to strive toward the goal of that Promised Land that Dr. King and our ancestors, even before him, sought to establish with all of us. That's what it means to me.
I'm good. No. I'm gonna say real quick. I'm gonna say really quick. When I think about the Promised Land, it is literally just me walking on this planet comfortable in my skin. That's the Promised Land. That no door will be closed to me because of something I have no control over. That is what is the most frustrating thing for me as a black person on this planet, a rock that is literally spinning in space, that I can't go anywhere else. And you're telling me that I don't have access to economic opportunities and other opportunities because of the color of my skin. That is frustrating. And so when I think about the Promised Land, is that when you have individuals whose skin hue makes them feel that they're more superior than my people, I have a problem with that. And until we can get to a place where people just see me as a human being, not as a black human being, but as a human being, we've got to continue to do the work that we do. And so I am grateful for our Divine Nine organizations, because if it was not for the almost 100 years of work of all of us, our communities would still be suffering. That's right. And that is real talk. Right. Our communities would still be suffering. And so me walking around in my skin and not being judged because I'm a black man is the Promised Land for me.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the honor.
No, please.
Yeah, the honor to have the president of JCSU. Could you please come up, please, man?
was trying to stand in the back so I wasn't going to be seen too much. I was just going to like stand in the back and just listen. And then I saw some heads and I was like, oh, maybe it's my height that actually allows people to know I'm in the room. So I'm excited to be here. And I want to say first and foremost, thank you all for being here on this panel with this really important conversation going on. And I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge my colleague, someone who's become a really good friend, the president of Barber Scotia. So Chris, I'm so glad that you are on our campus. Thank you for also being a part of this conversation.
Thank you.
And so let me just say, I'm excited that we're talking about the legacy of Martin Luther King. You know, as your 15th president, and not your 15th president, but your 15th president of Johnson C. Smith University, I graduated in 1996 from this fine university. And something that I took with me when I left Johnson C. Smith, and then when I came back as a Board of Trustee member for a few years, and then I came back as the president in August, was this message of a beloved community. And how do we understand HBCUs in the larger community context as beloved communities, particularly for Black people in the United States, but across the entire globe? And for me, a beloved community means exactly what they've talked about. It means that we are able to live in a world of freedom. I can be who I want to be and not who other people tell me I should be. And I also have a voice and a say. And I have the right to be free and liberated and to work for justice for all people. And it doesn't matter if someone is different from who I am. As long as we have at the core of who we are the freedom and emancipation of Black and brown people in this world, then we are talking about a beloved community. My hope is that Johnson C. Smith University is a beloved community. And if we're not, we're going to become a beloved community. We have no choice. At my first address I gave to the university, I talked about how we are now a university that's student-centered, and we are, and we have to be. Students have to be a part of every decision that we make. And as we think about Martin Luther King Jr. and his legacy, as we think about this month of January, I turned 50 this month, y'all.
Yes, Queen.
You got it out. You got it out.
Ooh, Lord.
I can just hear her like, Jesus.
You said a few words, right? So let me just end by saying, that's the first time I said in public my age. I have worked with so many students at different universities, and they've always wondered, how young are you? And I'm like, But now we're doing a 50 for 50 fundraising campaign, so I'm going to say, as I turn 50 years old this year, on January 30th, we're having a fundraiser in celebration of our students. So my birthday hope is that we will raise monies for our student scholarship. That is an example of how we're student first at Johnson C. Smith University, but that's also an example of, we know the times that we are living in, and if historically Black colleges and universities do not take a stand, and if we do not say we are doing this work with and for ourselves, our peoples, our students, and our communities, then I have to wonder why we're doing this work. So it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to be a part of and to listen to the great work that these folks on this panel are doing. And I just want to say welcome to Johnson C. Smith University, y'all. Happy 2024.
This question will be addressed to one of the leaders in our community, our city manager, Marcus Jones. If you could pick one or two areas for us to focus on and improve upon today in Charlotte, what would those areas be, and why are they important?
Sure. So I would start by saying that one of the things that maybe we don't realize enough is that Charlotte is a big city. When you start to think about the data, people believe that Atlanta is bigger than Charlotte. It's not. Charlotte's about twice the size of Atlanta. Now, the region is bigger than our region, but let's make no mistake, we're a big city. And we're getting about 120 people a day moving to this region. A day, okay? So how do we get out in front of this? So what we've talked about, not only as a staff but also a council, is the three-legged stool: a good paying job, a place to live, and a way to get back and forth. So if we start to think about some of the cities that have failed, and I'm not picking on St. Louis, but let's talk about St. Louis just a little bit, okay? 40, 50 years ago, St. Louis had 1 million people. Now they have about 273,000 people. So growth is a good thing if you're able to manage it. And someone said, earlier, if we start to think about not just the people that are coming here, but the people that live here. So the people that built this city, how are we making sure that they have good paying jobs? How are we making sure that they have affordable housing and a place to live? And how do we deal with the mobility issue going back and forth? So I think that's something that we could think about focused as a community. Because one thing I've learned, I've been here for about 8 years, I hear that after about 30 years I can be a Charlottean. maybe we can accelerate it a little bit. But we can learn a lot from cities who have struggled and embrace the fact that we're growing and we have something special here. But let's manage it in a way that continues to have this upward trajectory.
Thank you.
Hugh?
I love what you had to say as a real estate person. I really do. So for me, it's important for us to close the gaps, specifically the wealth gap.
Yes.
When I was allowed to become a regional president, so with that, I have all of our commercial, small business lending, and all of our branches. We call them stores. And you've seen some TD branches pop up across Charlotte over the past year. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at one of our store managers right now, my good fraternity brother, Ryan, who manages our store on Wilkinson Boulevard. But we opened up one just a mile away on Beatty's Ford Road. We've also opened up another one in East Charlotte as well, on Sharon Amity. These are communities where we have banking deserts. And we're not just opening banks. And it took a little bit of work and some vision by a lot of people, not just myself. It takes a team to do this. But the vision to open it up where we provide a platform and a venue for financial literacy, where we bring people in, be it, I want to get myself mortgage ready. That's how you create wealth, home ownership. How do I get myself prepared for my small business to grow? I remember when we were getting ready to open the stores in Charlotte, one of the first phone calls I made, you and I talked about this, was to Vi Lyles. I said, Mayor Lyles, where do you need us and what do you need? And she talked about the corridors of opportunity, but she also said, I need you to get that woman who is a hairdresser and is taking cash in her name. And then she shows up at your bank and she can't get a loan because she's been taking cash in her name. Show her what she needs to do with an LLC. Show her what she needs to do with financial statements. So when she walks in the door, you go, wow, yes, we'll make that loan. You're approved, right? That's the difference. We've got to close that gap. We've got to provide that financial literacy for our people, and we have to provide financial access. We can't have banking deserts. Again, we have food deserts. Yeah. We have banking deserts.
I never thought about that.
We have banking deserts. And so if we have our stores in places where people have access, since we opened those stores, they are some of the top performing branches, not just in North Carolina that we have, but from Maine to Florida. I'll never forget, and I'll shut up, when I was a real estate lender in Washington, D.C., if you've been there, you know the grocer there is Giant, right? And they decided to open up a Giant or a Kroger's, I forgot what it was, I think it was Giant, in Anacostia, in southeast D.C. Okay. It was the first store that had been open there in 30 plus years. And when it opened, it was the top performing store in that district. The sales per square foot were through the roof. And they were like, really? And I said, our people buy food too. Don't be so surprised. Well, in banking, it's the same thing. We need loans. We need access to capital. We need financial advisory and service and advice so that we can also build our wealth. So For me, it's closing that equity gap.
Sheriff, your thoughts?
Nick, give me that question again before I say the wrong thing.
Sure. If you could pick one or two areas to focus on and improve upon today in Charlotte, what would those areas be and why are they important?
This is a great day for all of us, but I have to speak for the people who are not here. And that's the 1,200 people that is incarcerated inside the detention center. I hear all the work that we do. If you want to do some work, you can come to my house and I'll let you do the same community work that you do where you say you're doing it. You don't have to travel to a foreign country. You can travel to the building downtown because they are waiting for you all. They have a dream too. They wanted to be here too. They wanted the promised land too, but they didn't have that. The areas that I would improve is mental health. So many men and women now are in a mental crisis because now I see, this is my 42nd, 33rd year in law enforcement. Now I'm seeing the children who were in those crises with gunshots and those bad neighborhoods still suffering. The very first person that I ever arrested is still coming here. Mental health, housing. I hear everything that you're all saying. I know my sister says, and I know the city manager said, because I live in a world that some of you dream about or lived in and forgot about. And see, this is what we need. We need to be careful with that. If I could provide food for families, if I could provide shelter for families, if I can provide mental stability for families, those are the three things. When we talk about the promised land that that's Martin's dream. That's not, and I know somebody said something, that's Martin's dream. That's not my dream. I know I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings. I respect the brother from Alpha Phi Alpha because that's their fraternity brother, but that's not my dream. My dream was sitting in that office when I was a student here as the vice president of the SGA president, looking at those buildings downtown and trying to figure out how I can get down there. I'm down there. But once you get down there, what do you do?
Yes, yes, yes.
And that's what I'm looking for, because here's what we do, and I'm going to be quiet because I'm not on my medication. And that's gummy bears for anybody want to tweet that out. Sheriff ain't on his medication. We're going to tweet that out. But I listened at my sister down and I got excited when she said from Turbyville. You know why? That's Clarendon County. That's Scott Branch High School. You don't even know what the school name. The family's not Brown versus the Board of Education. It's the Briggs family. The Briggs family started. But you know what the McFadden's family said when they heard them talking about getting busing at the Allen University meeting? The McFaddens went out and bought a bus in 1947. That's my legacy. That's our dream. My dream is for you to do what you say that you do in here today for the people in our city. Because here's what I want to tell you. I have that wonderful proverb that y'all had, but there's another proverb that y'all have not probably heard. We all know about the little village. It takes a village. Well, look this proverb up. And I wrote it down so I didn't get it wrong. The child who is not embraced by the village will burn it down to feel its warmth. If you don't believe it, pick up the newspaper every day. And so when we're talking today, the three things I would focus on is mental health, mental health, mental health. It's good that we're talking about it, but here's what I'm going to say. How many people went downstairs to see those kids?
Oh, yeah, I did. I stopped down there.
How many people went downstairs for the future? Because that's all of us in the fraternity and sororities, that was us.
Yeah, sure
so when we're
was.
talking about the three things that we could do, it would be food, shelter, and mental health. And every one of these students need it. They need that love, they need that warmth. But I will tell you all, we don't have a village anymore. And somebody can say, Sheriff, why you say that? Come down to where I am. We have 1,201 people inside. 925 are African American. 101 are female. And here's the little age group, the youth, 18 to 24, I have 304 of them. 25 to 34, 416.
That's it right there. I mean,
that's where my commitment is. And I didn't realize what we were not doing until they say, brother, here's why, and I'll stop. Before I became the sheriff, an organization sent me to Norway and Germany to study prison systems. Most people don't know that. I'll let something else you know and let them. Your sheriff is studying at Harvard, not online at the school. But the main person who touched my heart is this young man in Germany. When I was walking out of his room in this detention center, he touched me on my shoulder. I may get emotional. He said, "Sheriff, let me tell you something. No matter what nobody says, when you walk into that building, you are somebody's hope. And if you can't fulfill that, you didn't do anything." And that's what we have to do today. Because I know they said, well, the sheriff is off. Because you know what I did? I came dressed like this because I had my nice uniform on with all the stars. And I said, I'm going to stand in the room and see how many people recognize the sheriff. It was a joke. Me and a guy made a bet. I stood there. I changed this. Now, if I had my $600 suit on, I do have $600 boots on because these are ostrich. Then you would have said, "Oh, hey, Sheriff, what can I do for you? Can I get a car? Can I get a meet you? Can I talk to you?" When I say that I'm free, come to South Carolina and drive down Clarence McFadden Road. We own the cotton fields that we were slaves in. That's the promised land that my grandfathers and brothers thought about. We love Martin. They march with him. But we have to have our own dream and allow our dreams to be manifested. They come and talk about us. Other than that, it makes us feel good today. And I'm sorry that may be off track, but I am a child of God, fear God, and if you mad with me, say pray about it and ask God, why did you put this on this brother's heart today to say it? Because sometimes this is the only time I'm going to get to say it.
Right.
So God bless y'all.
That's all right.
May I piggyback a bit on that one too? Yeah, and I agree. If asked a couple of things, mental health is definitely number one, and right behind that is mentorship. Like as D9 organizations, we all are mentoring kids. That is part of what we like to do and what our organizations were made to do. But I do feel like that Charlotte can work on city-funded mentorship. I am a pediatrician. 24 kids on my schedule yesterday. A quarter of them, 6, were anxiety, depression, suicidal ideation. And I want the communities of Charlotte and outside of just our D9 to recognize that kids need help. And that is through mentorship, that is through mental health training for everyone from your advisors, like I am for Zeta Phi Beta, a youth advisor, to our police officers when they encounter these kids who are in crisis. And it's not crisis like we think. It's not all about the trauma of your dad shooting your mom. It is the trauma of social media and being bullied there and not having friendships and not having organizations in the city that you can go to safely. Parents don't trust the random person that's saying, I'm gonna mentor your child. But if we have some community or city-run mentorship programs where parents feel comfortable sending their kids, and those people are trained in the mental health and what kids need in order to thrive, I think that would make our communities even better.
I'd like to add to that list. We talked about mental health and economics, but in North Carolina right now, our public school system is under assault. If you haven't seen Governor Cooper's state of emergency, we have political parties that want to use taxpayers' money to fund private school vouchers. In other words, welfare for the rich. They want us to change our history books to believe that slavery was okay. They also, these political parties also want to remove books from schools because they don't fit their ideology.
Down around equity gaps. We've noticed that we're seeing these gaps continue to widen along racial, gender, political, social, economic lines partly due to the COVID-19 pandemic. How do we find common ground to engage, heal, move forward, close these equity gaps? And I'm going to start this by going back to my good frat brother Marcus on this one.
Sure, I'll give it a shot. So you talked about COVID-19 and the pandemic, and I'll tell you that I've been in this public service realm for almost 30 years, trained to do what I do, but I will tell you there was no textbook that taught us how to deal with a pandemic, and no textbook that taught us how to deal with a pandemic on top of civil unrest. And so a lot of, the folks that run cities, tapped out. For exactly what Sheriff McFadden said, it was the mental stress of having to go through having a pandemic and civil unrest. I will tell you that as I talked to my colleagues and they bailed out on me, one thing that I learned that there is something special about Charlotte, and that's different from many other cities. When you start to think about it, and I would just ask you if there's a takeaway from me today, let's agree that government can't do everything, and government shouldn't be forced to decide everything. So in other words, having a community come together and having people around a table that typically their voices aren't heard is a way to change the trajectory of any city. We go back to, and it's kind of interesting that Dr. Watlington is here today, we go back to that period of time with George Floyd, as well as, the pandemic, some of the civil unrest that happened here. It could have been easy for 12 elected officials to try to come up with a solution. But instead, what occurred is that the council came together with the community and formed a number of citizen input groups. And folks gave better ideas than I think we could have gotten from some universities across the country. But more importantly, those voices were heard. And so as we start to deal with this craziness that's happening around the country, I would like for Charlotte to be that example for other cities, that you need to engage people that historically have not been engaged, and you have to own up to why we're in the situation that we're in, because historically we have not had people come to the table and have their voices heard.
I like to add to that. I think that we as a people, we got to educate ourselves, and then also, broken record, we got to get out to vote. That's going to help change the disparity. Many people think, these national elections is where the change, but it's not there. It is in our local city government is where the change is going to take place, and we have got to run for those offices. One thing that I admire about Dr. Martin Luther King is that he was a trailblazer. He was not scared. He was a risk taker, and I think that we sometimes are scared of the consequences if we say something about something that's not right. Like, I don't want to put myself out there, I'm going to lose my job, or I don't want to go to jail. But Dr. Martin Luther King, all those other civil rights activists that was out there walking, sitting on the lunch counters, being sprayed with fire hoses, being bitten by dogs, put in jail. They were not scared. And I just think that right now we are a scared generation. We don't want to risk our lives. We don't want to risk our families. But we've got to do something, because we're here because of Dr. Martin Luther King, all the things that he did and all the others that marched alongside with him. But in order to make sure that future generations after us can be free and be included and have even a better life than what we've had, we've got to vote. We've got to take a risk. Yep. We've got to do things that we haven't done before. We've got to major in STEM, science, technology, engineering, math. We got to major in political science. We've got to educate ourselves so that we can be prepared when we are running for these various offices and roles. We have support, and we know what we're talking about when we get up there. There's nothing that I hate than someone doing something and they don't have the education background. They haven't done their homework. So we've got to vote. We've got to encourage others to vote. We got to get our black brothers out there to vote. We got to get our black sisters out there to vote. We got to get our parents, our grandparents, and we've also got to educate our youth about the importance of voting and what it means. Sometimes I think we don't, from an education standpoint, like, yes, I'm going to vote for this, I'm going to vote for that, but we don't really know exactly what it means. There are so many things that are embedded in some of these bills and laws that we're voting on. We think, oh, it's just going to give us more books. But no, there's other things that these representatives and congressmen have put in there that they know that we're not going to read the fine print. So we got to educate ourselves. We got to get out there to vote. We've got to take risks and be able to step out for the things that we believe in so that our future generations can be free and have a better life.
So if I could,
I just wanted to add a few points. I agree with everything that everyone said. So today was the first day I met Marcus, and I was sharing with him that I'm a transplant. He said to me, you know, what are a couple of things that you would change about the city? And I mentioned, you know, paying teachers more, right? Our teachers need more money. But I also said, lessen the pay gap, right? Coming from New Jersey down to Charlotte, I often heard, you know, where you're coming down here with your big dollars, because I used to work in New York. I work for TIAA, okay? I'm the Chief Compliance Officer for Alternative Investments. And our CEO, who happens to be the only black female CEO for a Fortune 500 company, our mission at TIAA is to make sure that we can retire with dignity. What does retire with dignity mean? Meaning that we have to understand how to manage our finances. So what are we doing? In the organization, we've established, in Alpha Kappa Alpha, we've established a credit union, right? For our women, we're teaching financial responsibility, how to save your money, where to invest your money, okay? In a corporate level, again, we have TIAA offers so many services for the employees alone to learn about our financials, how to manage our money, how to grow our money, how to grow wealth. I have colleagues that sit right next to me who invest heavily in the products that we offer. We can do that. You have to know what's offered at your organizations, okay? Financial responsibility is individual. And I think it's up to us as mothers, fathers, parents, sisters, brothers, to educate ourselves so that in turn we can educate our children. One of my friends posted on Facebook yesterday how, you know, hey, you should start a retirement plan, or you should start an account for your children. She didn't do that for her first child, but she's doing it for the second. So until we know how to handle our money that we make, we have to make sure that we're able to pass that on to our children. I know my parents, they weren't college educated, and we didn't talk about money in the household. My dad paid the bills. My mother, you know, she worked. And then when my dad passed away, he passed away before my mom, he said to me, you know, you're going to have to sit down and help your mother write the checks. I said, okay, Dad, you know, because I used to watch him write the checks. The first time I sat down with my mother to write the check, she was like, girl, if you don't get away from me, I know how to write these checks. I know how to pay bills. But he didn't think that she know how to do it because he did it himself. So I think as parents, we have to be responsible and make sure that we understand where our money is going, how we're growing our money. Think about how we're investing our money so that when we're gone, there's some money left for your children to do something with it other than pay for your funeral costs.
So I just want to close with just a quick comment about thinking about our organizations. And, you know, if you guys could just bear with me really quick. You know, when I think about our Divine Nine organizations, and I share this a lot with my brothers, you know, we have to really reimagine what being in our fraternities and sororities are today. So I love the comment about, you know, us not being afraid, but I would caveat by saying that we need to understand the rules of the game. The reality is that no, we're not going to get on the streets and march and get hit down with hoses and get bit by dogs. That's not the era that we're in. But what we have to understand are the rules that have been written in order for us to be able to thrive in this community that we live in. And I think that's where we drop the ball as individuals. It's not understanding the rules. When I ran for international president, I talked about us getting into the affordable housing business. There was a couple of snickers. A couple of folks were like, you know, that's not what we do, right? That's too, you know, we do community service, we raise money for scholarships, and then, you know, we have our cookouts, and then we beat our chests that we're members of the organization. I laid out a different kind of future for the organization as it relates to affordable housing, maybe one day having our own hospital that focuses on black men's health. Us going in, if charter schools are here to stay, then maybe we need to have our own charter school system, you know, that's educating our kids. Again, big debate, but that's a conversation to have. Us having our own clinics around the country that focuses on us. In March of this year, we will have a ceremony that will tear down our international headquarters. And in 15 months, we will rebuild our international headquarters, which will be on the first floor, and then a 4-story affordable housing complex on top of it.
Do you need a loan? Let's definitely talk. I'm gonna let you finish, but I want to come behind. This is the only time I'm gonna come behind you today.
But the power of why this is important is because this will transform our organization long term. Okay? We're talking about having, when it's all said and done, an over $36 million asset that will be on our books. So when the asset is paid off, that's all rent that comes to us as an individual, as an organization. Now imagine us multiplying that in multiple cities across the country. In 20 years, we will have over $100 million in revenue coming into our organization because it's about thinking differently. You have to reimagine, because you can't say that you're full of all these intellectual capital and we're giving it to somebody else when we literally have our own organizations that we can create. So don't be surprised when the Sigmas of Charlotte talk about an affordable housing, you know, going up here in 5-6 years. You'll be like, man, I remember when the president was talking. I won't be the president then. I got to get away from these brothers. They crazy. But the reality is that we have to reimagine our organizations. And when we talk about the voting piece, all of our organizations have PACs, political action committees. If you haven't educated yourself on your organization's PAC, you need to do that. Why? Because we strategically need to give money to our PACs that will then give money to candidates who are normally from our own organizations, running for office, and then also looking at bills and issues that impact our organization. You got to know the rules to the game. That's the way that I would ask for us to reimagine our D9 organizations.
You know, I'm so happy to hear y'all are doing affordable housing. I want to double click on that because that is so important. We need the investment in our communities. And when the Sigmas of Charlotte do the Letter Kappa in Charlotte finance it for them. But you know, the thing is, you know, we're all in positions of power, and we don't always understand how to leverage that power. Right down the street here on Beatty's Ford Road, a black banker financed a black developer in a black neighborhood with a black insurance provider, right? All on the corner of LaSalle and Beatty's Ford Road.
That's right.
We don't do enough of that.
That's right.
We don't do enough of that. We don't partner with each other. We talk about spending money in the black community,
right?
But we don't do the multiplier effect of spending that money in the black community by creating black wealth along the way. We need to do more of that. So, again, when you get ready to do your affordable housing, you let me know. We like affordable housing.
Can I say too that I think that we're talking about a lot of this in broad strokes and what organizations and things are doing, but in this very same speech, Dr. King said, let us develop a dangerous unselfishness, he said. And I think that that is on an individual level. If you can look to anyone and say, what do you need, sister, and what do you need? And it doesn't hurt you to be unselfish. We're not asking, people to harm yourself or to, put yourself down or not give you the things that you need personally, but it's to look to other people, even other organizations, if we want to do it in a broad scheme and say, what is it that you need? What can I help with? And that, I think, will bolster the community, from the bottom up, talking about grassroots. If we're all dangerously unselfish, we are able to move the community and our organizations forward.
Thank you. So D9 family.
Clap for that.
I love that. Yes.
Clap for that.
As somebody said, dangerously unselfish.
So D9 family, as we close, I would like to ask each one of you to give a final thought, words, wisdom regarding this conversation today, or even to say a thank you to the attendees. We're going to start to my far left.
Sure, I think I have 2 words to sum that up, consistency and commitment. A lot of people might not agree with your decisions and see the same goals that you're trying to achieve, but for the ones that support you and love you, if you show them that you're consistent in your message and that you're committed, and I think the saying is, if you're not committed, you never start anything, and if you're not consistent, you never finish anything.
Thank you.
For me, I would like to close with a quote by Mahatma Gandhi stating, "Be the change that you wish to see in the world." Dr. Martin Luther King, he was the change that he wanted to see. He wanted to see equal rights for all, no matter the color of your skin or the content of your character. And I think that if each one of us individually, I can't change you, you can't change me, but I can change, I can't change you, but I can change myself. But if we individually begin to take steps ourselves to be the change that we want to see in the world, it'll make the world a better place. And that freedom, that being inclusive, that equity that we all wish, it will come to fruition. Thank you.
I'd like to thank the Planning Committee and the City of Charlotte for allowing us to have these conversations today. I'd like to thank Zeta Phi Beta Sorority and my chapter for trusting me to represent our finer sisterhood. And if I could leave a final thought, it would be that Dr. King's promised land is within reach. At the mountaintop, we can all see the possibilities. We all just need to keep working towards both equality and equity for our communities.
So I'll close by saying that 2024, we have an election looming. We have a huge responsibility as organizations to do, in my opinion, 3 things. We have a huge responsibility to register as many people as we can. But in that process, we have a responsibility to come together to make sure we educate people on the issues and the candidates that are running. And then number 3, getting them to the polls on election day or throughout the early voting period. To strategically do that, that means that we need to all work together. The alphas are using the van, the sigmas are driving the van. The kappas are helping them out the door, and then the Qs are helping them through the door
But we sold
to vote.
We sold all the doors.
You sold all the vans?
We sold the van to you.
Okay. So the reality is that in this process, we should see on social media multiple opportunities that we're showcasing us working together to get folks educated through this process. And then when it's all said and done, after Election Day, we should be so tired. And I ain't even trying to get out of bed because I don't work hard. That's what I would close with, is that don't take your eye off the ball for November of 2024, because it is real out here in these streets. And what they're trying to do, and the individuals that they're running at every level, and when I say they, I mean those that have a problem with the color of my skin.
See, this is what's hard. Y'all have taken all the meat off the bone here.
Now you got to bite the bone.
So now I got to bite the bone. Actually, you really have. You've taken a lot of great points that are worth discussing. I'll just close with this. I'll be real simple. Every morning I wake up and I pray and I thank God for letting my feet hit the ground. And then I pray for grace and allowing me to be the best version of myself that day and having a positive effect on everyone that I interact with. Everyone who I lead, everyone who I need to do things with. And so I would leave you with the thought, make sure you pray to the man upstairs. Thank him for giving you the day and giving you the opportunity, the energy in your body to engage in the fight that we all need to engage in to better not only ourselves. I mean, at some point it's not about you anymore, right? I've got 2 kids, one working downtown and one I'm trying to get out of college. She got a job offer yesterday. So I pray for them to also have a positive effect, though, on the people that they engage with every day. Because if we do that, then we have an opportunity to make change and affect change. We talked about change earlier. That's where it will come from.
Thank you.
So thank you. I'll end the way I began. Thank you for not putting me behind Sheriff McFadden. And something that I learned a long time ago is just be your authentic self. People are looking. Kids are watching us, what we do. Show up, and it's okay to be human. It's okay to be humble. It's okay to share the challenges that we have, because if people think that we have it all together, then sometimes they won't talk to us about having things together. And maybe, most importantly, and this is probably going to get me in trouble, but let's do it. So also, all of us have leadership positions, and we should not leave our fraternities, our sororities, our color at the door, or experiences at the door. You take it into the organization. So we have an organization of almost 9,000 people, $3.3 billion, and the things that we're doing in the city are about our staff, increasing minimum pay by 50% over the last 6 years. It's things like that that we can do, that where we show up and we can be intentional in these leadership positions.
I'm going to borrow a quote from my CEO. She often says, "I rent my title, but I own my character." Wow. Let your character reflect who you are. Wow. That's my point number 1. Point number 2, help somebody. Take time to help somebody. And I want to quickly give a shout out to my soror who's not here, to Sonda Duckett, who she keeps quoting, who actually is a member of Delta Sigma Theta. We know. Oh,
the African American CEO of corporate America. I just wanted to make sure I called that out.
I'm glad you know who she is.
But in all seriousness, I want to thank my esteemed chapter president, soror Katrina Young, for the opportunity to represent Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated today. So thank you, Katrina, for this opportunity. So I do have a few comments that I want to leave with y'all. Number 1, be dream catchers. You are a steward of somebody else's dream. Somebody is looking to you to unlock their dream, and you have the key. And remember that. Don't be a dream stealer. Understand that if you're here, you operate from a place of privilege. Don't let your privilege go to waste. You need to take the risk. And so let me tell you a little bit about risk-taking. Since Hugh talked about the work that he's been doing, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I do in my capacity as Chief Community Impact Banking Officer at Fifth Third. I launched a program a few years ago with the support of my CEO that allowed me to take a risk. And it was a bet that we could invest $180 million across 9 predominantly African-American communities in our country that experience this investment. Places that are food deserts, banking deserts, any desert, you name it. Right here in this corridor, we selected Historic West End, which is the corridor that we sit in today. And I'm pleased to share that this community-centric engagement model, which allowed us to be able to do nothing for them without them, every investment that we've made in this corridor has been with community and citizen and resident input, and I'm very proud of that. But I recognize the privilege and the amazing responsibility that I have as a leader in my organization to say, I can be on the demolition crew or I can be on the construction crew. I need to choose what I want to do. And it's going to require for me to take some risk. But I'm going to allow my God to deal with the consequences of my obedience, and so I ain't never scared. And we all have the opportunity to do that in the spaces and places that we occupy, whether it be business, whether it be the justice system, whether it be public service or education. We all have a responsibility. It's going to take every single one of us to be the change that we want to see. Every single one of us is the key to unlocking somebody else's dream, because guess what? Somebody else had the key to ours. That's right. We need to eliminate the they and the them, because guess what? They are the we. Let's remove that from our vocabulary, y'all. It's not about they, it's not about them, it's a we thing. And until we acknowledge it's a we thing, we're going to continue to struggle. So I encourage all of us to take the risk. Be on the construction crew and not the demolition crew. Understand the spaces and places you occupy and use your privilege accordingly, positively, to make the change that you want to see and the change that you want to be. This is Jada Grandy Mock, and I approve this message.
That is a Delta. I'm going to try to close you all out. Yes, I'm not on my medication. So when I tell you all I'm free, this is how free I am. Most of you all don't know this, but I hold the highest elected position in the city. Most people don't know that. They think the mayor or my friend down here. I am. I can close off a road, don't have to ask anybody. I can march in the street, don't have to ask anybody. You need to know the power of your sheriff. And once I found the power of the sheriff, y'all didn't even know how powerful it was. They did. Because see, here's what happened. 8 African Americans took over the entire state of North Carolina in one election. You all don't even know that. They put it in the paper and says, that's the great 8. You don't know that. When the other person was president, last name Trump, said, that sheriff in North Carolina is dangerous, you should have been listening. When Vice President Trump came to Fayetteville and says, Gary McFadden is a dangerous thing to have. Because see, here's what I said in the beginning. I'm the first black African-American sheriff in Mecklenburg County. I hate to say that, because I shouldn't be saying that 260 years later. But we like to say, forgive me for anybody's toes that I step on, we like to say first black and the only. Like my sister said, we need to start saying we. You walk in the room and say we. The 8 of us control North Carolina, whether you like it or not. Why? Because the contracts come through us. Do you know, and I'm sure my accounting manager knows, do you know contracts don't come to nobody but me to sign? Millions of dollars. So imagine 8 African Americans can control that money. This is why they target us. So when we get away from I, us, and only, and go to we, because imagine this, the things that we're talking about, there's a problem, we'll all have those positions. From the president down, we don't work together. We don't come together. I, only, and then we feel and beat our chest. 704-591-9523 is my phone number. 704-591-9523 is my phone number. Challenge your sheriff. But when you challenge my sheriff, make sure that you know what you're talking about. And make sure that when you bring it to me, that I don't already have it. Because a lot of things that you think that we're not doing, we're doing. Culinary school, barber school. Do you know that a sheriff and a young man created the first black business in Walmart? A 3-time convicted felon called Cops and Barbers? You all don't even hear about it. But this is how we work together and not shun a brother and sister away. let's get away from the I, and the first, because there will never be the first black sheriff in Charlotte, but there should be many black sheriffs after I leave, and that is my duty to make sure. I will never be the only single one. But I need to have that mindset across the United States to say, can I go and help a brother here, sister here, and sister there? If we get away from that, we are a powerful group of people, but we have to stop being that word that sister used down there from South Carolina. Yeah, we're from South Carolina. We didn't ran, we stayed. Unselfishness. We have to stop being selfish. We stop having to push people away. If we work together, we'll be magnificent. Every dream that every one of us have here should come true. That's Martin's dream. And I keep saying that. Martin inspired me. Martin put something in my soul. And you know what he said to me? He said to me, go and get it. That's what he really said. And if you really think about everything that happened with Martin, it was for us to continue. Let me say this, and I know y'all going to say that's not true. He would be embarrassed at what's going on in the United States right now. Embarrassed because we hold the positions. We're the police, we're law enforcement, we're the judges, we're the constitutional makers. We have they didn't have that. And imagine we're still talking about his dream. We're at the White House. We're in Congress. We're in Senate. We're teaching our kids. We're the principal at our schools. We own the signatures at the banks. We hold the law enforcement positions. Why are we not doing better? Selfish.
Audience, if you don't mind, we all join to get our panelists.
I ain't on no medication. I'm free.
All right, so they gave me the mic. I like to talk, so I'm going to try to sum this up. Today we are reminded that Dr. King was an ordinary man who did extraordinary things, which reminds me that anybody can be great because anybody can serve. I want to take a cue from my sister here. Our key is in we. So as we continue to, as we walk away from this conversation, don't just walk away and say, oh, that was a great talk. McFadden killed it. He's doing some phenomenal things. The Kappas out here giving out loans. Holla at you. But I want us to start thinking about how do we organize? But also, how do we in our organization build bridges to continuously build capacity, because our success really is in how we organize as a community, how we continue to sustain the work that we build. So next year, we won't be talking about the dream. We won't be talking about the promised land. We'll be talking about how do we evolve this to even greater heights. Because the seeds we plant today will be the shade, will provide the shade that our future generations will be able to be comfortable and sit underneath. So thank you very much for your time. Give yourselves a round of applause. Go out, be great, continue to serve.
Good afternoon. I'm Leland Howard, former, I like that word too, former president of the Charlotte NPHC. I just want to try to come up with something very prophetic to say, because you got some great speakers up here who've got me inspired to say a lot of great words, but I'm just going to say just a few. I am thankful. I'm thankful for what God has done for me through my organization. I'm grateful. I'm grateful for the opportunities that God has given me through my organization. But most importantly, I'm challenged by these folks up here who are not in my organization to do more. I'm challenged by people in my organization to be greater. But I'm challenged by my brothers and sisters who have also joined organizations that have decided to serve our people. So let's not make any mistake about this. This whole conversation, it's about a dream. It's about MLK's dream. But what's your dream? I appreciate what Sheriff McFadden was saying. Might not be his dream with how MLK said it. I heard his dream. His dream's not mine. Take your own dream. Let's execute on that. Let's make sure you understand what it is you were asking for you to do today. And what we're asking for you to do is to walk out of here, shake hands with everyone in the room, say, brothers and sisters, I love you, I appreciate you. Let's work together. We know what we are charged to do. We've got a whole community out there that's looking to get to the mountaintop. And just because we get closer to the mountaintop doesn't necessarily mean we're going to get there. Who says we need to stop trying to get there? And if you are happen to be successful like Chris Ray, International President of Phi Beta Sigma, at the mountaintop, if you don't reach down and pick me back up and pull me up with you, I'll find a way to get there. We'll talk about what it is we need to do at the top to bring other people up there with us. So again, reach down, pull up, reach up, someone will pull you up. Thank you again for coming out. Thank you again, Karen, for this. This is Karen's vision. Second year of this. Thank you so much. Thank you for the city of Charlotte. Thank you to the city of Charlotte for helping us to get this message out. This actually was broadcast on live stream, so the link for this, if you want to go back and watch it again or share it with your friends and family, it's actually out on the Charlotte NPHC social media page. It's also actually on the City of Charlotte's website. So please, please, please share this. Take the words with you. Thank you again for everything. Parades tomorrow. Let's make sure we attend all the MLK events that are scheduled for the weekend. Thank you so much and have a good day.